Those devastating pictures tell one part of the story, of course, in Japan, but there's also a lot of uncertainty when people look at the economy and the impact it could have. Now, this was a little bit better day for stocks in Japan today. They closed up a little bit, the Nikkei did, but there is still continued concern about what will happen in both the short and the long term when it comes to the economy. So joining us with a closer look at that situation is Rebecca Jarvis, CBS News Business and Economics correspondent. So we did see, I guess, a little bit of good news. We need to be tempered in how we say that, but there's been so much movement in the Nikkei, the index that everybody looks to in Japan for their stock market over the last few days. What's the situation right now?
Well, of course, it is difficult to talk about economics when the human toll is so grave here, but the volatility that you're seeing on the ground in Japan right now is really being reflected in its stock market. Stocks started out the week down very significantly, 11%, the biggest drop that we have seen since the crash of 1987, but there is a bit of a rebound today. Still, there are serious fears and concerns about Japan and its economy going forward because just like the United States, Japan was in a state of recovery, economic recovery, when the quake and the tsunami hit, and this is certainly going to be a big weight on its shoulders going forward.
And there's been a lot of concern that these three disasters, because there really are three here, the quake, the tsunami, and now the nuclear issues, could plunge them into yet another recession. Depending on the news, too, that they're getting every day, literally which way the wind blows, because it could potentially be bringing radiation with it, that's affecting the economy.
Yeah, and this is something I'm hearing from traders who are on the ground in Japan. A lot of offices, from Bank of America to Deutsche Bank to even Goldman Sachs, are contemplating moving their locations. Some of them are having people stay home from work as a result of the radiation in the air, and they say that as long as the nuclear question remains open, things will continue to be volatile in the market as well as the economy there.
And of course, we see this played out here for a number of reasons, because there's that global, the global impact just on the psyche, and also when it comes to all of these important companies in Japan, where a number of things are made that people use around the globe.
Yes, well, there are a number of companies, like you say, from Toyota to Toshiba to Panasonic, Canon. These are all companies that have seen their operations in Japan on some level changed. So they have had a number of their plants shut down. In the case of Toyota, for example, Toyota manufactures its Prius in one place. It's Japan. So while things have been shut down in Japan, in many of these companies, we may see some changes in our products here. However, like you say, we're in a globalized world now, and so some places can shift their production back to the United States. But things like computer chips, for example, which go in smartphones and iPads, those could be in short supply, and that could impact what we see on the ground here.
Those are all the things we've been watching. I know you've been watching the Dow as well, which of course fell nearly 300 points at one point yesterday, finished down 137. We'll see the impact again today. Rebecca, thanks.
Thanks.